And hello, welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. It is Zack and Alex here in the month of May. This is the week.
It's here.
We are going to Indy in a few days, and
Yep.
I don't know what to say.
You're speechless.
I am speechless, and that's
We've been
very rare
planning
that I'm
this
actually
for almost a year.
We haven't. When did I commit? I think it was after you went to the 500 is when I was like, nah, yeah, I'm going next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they sent the reorder package or whatever, like right after the race. And they were like, and I was like, okay, Zach, if you want to go, I'll go with you. Larson's going to be in it. We already knew.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I'm going. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, but as of course, we talk about Indy and how special this time of year is as a race fan. Alex and I recorded a little bit of a bonus episode because as I've been telling people, "Hey, I'm going to the Indy 500," and people respond to me being like, "Oh, that's cool. I've been to a NASCAR race once." And I'm just like, "No. Like this is not one, it's not NASCAR, but two, this is the Indy 500. It's not just a race. Like it's much more than a race."
Yeah.
So Alex and I made a little bonus episode, and it's up on Patreon right now, just talking about why the Indy 500 is called the greatest spectacle in racing, why it's so special to not only us, but a lot of people. If you are not able to support us on Patreon, it's going to be up on YouTube later this week. So check that out. It might already be up if you're listening to this. So yeah. We had a lot of fun making that. Got some more. We might have some bonus content from our in-person visit too, but we got to talk about that a little bit more. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna be at the Indy 500 this weekend. This is our last episode before we are both changed men, or at least I will be a changed man. Alex, you've already been to the 500 before, whatever. But this might be the last time. This might be the last time you see me.
Yeah.
I might die next week. I don't know.
If Kyle Larson wins, I might have to pull Jackson Todd in here to help me co-host this thing.
Or if he doesn't make it to Charlotte because of Cheeto Head, I'm going to be going to federal prison. So that's a joke. Legally, that's
joking.
He speaking of Mr. President, Roger Penske kind of just told the whole sport to shut up because Roger. Indianapolis 500 qualifying was over the weekend. We're going to get into the Penske front row sweep. We're also going to talk about the NASCAR All-Star race and that.
Yeah, that.
Incident,
you know what we're talking about.
The incident, the lack of I don't know. What a night. What a time to be a race fan.
So funny.
I can't lie. I had so much fun yesterday. The whole day.
Yeah.
Indy 500 qualifying, the All-Star race, it was all great. We'll get into it. But Indy 500 qualifying, the best qualifying in motorsports ever. There's a reason they have a whole weekend for it, and we were reminded on why, because it's so intense. The drama is the drama this year. There wasn't like a big moment. There wasn't like a big Graham Rahal gets bumped, right?
Right.
But there were so many little dramas spread throughout the weekend, whether it was someone like Marcus Ericsson crashing on Thursday, or we had the plenum issues. We'll get into all of that. But Alex, what's your takeaway from qualifying weekend?
It's the best qualifying in motorsport, period. And that is why the Indy 500 is such a fantastic buildup. Because you're not going to get this anywhere else. You don't get this at NASCAR's Daytona 500. You don't get this anything in F1. You don't get this anywhere else. This is only the Indy 500.
We're glued to our TV watching single car runs. Like, what? That's insane.
Like, Zach, in qualifying, Indy 500 qualifying, everyone gets a guaranteed lap in a random draw. And some cars withdrew their lap. Some cars crashed, like Rena's Veekay. He crashed in his first quali lap. And we'll touch on him in a bit. But then McLaren, none of them finished their run because Kyle Larson had that plenum event, as you talked about. They pulled Pato Award. They pulled Alex Rossi after that happened. Then Callum Ilott got disqualified for something when he ran.
Weird. Yeah.
So there were 7 cars that did not make a lap in that first run or didn't have a lap count. and 4 of them were all the McLaren. So for a while on Saturday, it was like, "Oh my gosh, McLaren is
The
like
drama surrounding McLaren was insane.
McLaren does not qualify for the Indy 500, like, mid-afternoon on Saturday." Like, it was just bizarre, and of course, they all qualified, and Rossi goes out, puts down a monster lap. Kyle Larson impresses because of
Oh
course he
my
does.
god. What a man.
Like, and then you top it all off, you go into Sunday, which is bump day now as well. Team Penske locks out the front row, first time in 36 years. Like, that's a huge story
They
on its
swept the
own.
top 3 in all 3 of their qualifying sessions. They did not have a
Yes,
single misstep the whole weekend.
and that's remarkable. First time since 1988. The last time they did that, by the way, Rick Mears was in the yellow submarine, the yellow car. He won the pole and he won the race. Scott McLaughlin is in the same car and won the pole. That's a new record for the third year in a row. Scott Dixon set the record for pole 2 years ago. Alex Palou did it last year. Now Scott McLaughlin this year. Like, there's so many storylines. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go.
Well, I think let's talk about Team Penske and the
Yeah,
fact that they have been under a lot of heat. Team Penske suspended their own engineers going into the month of May, which was a little it's surprising to see them perform like this. We thought that they would be
oh
down,
yeah.
right?
Girl, last week you and I were like, "Yeah, don't count out Penske. Joseph's not there. There's too many things against them right now." But then they come out swinging, and they're one,
They
two,
haven't
three basically all week.
they haven't qualified like this in years. Like even I feel
Last
like
week or
when
last
Simon
year,
Mhm,
Joseph Newgarden qualified 17th last year and won.
yeah. Like even when Pagano won the pole for the 500, I feel like most of Penske was kind of off. I'd have to double check, but
Yeah,
like they're normally not qualifying beasts here, but this
in
year, and
recent
some
years.
people are like, that's suspicious. So the cheaters locked out the front row at the track they own.
Conspiracy heads,
Hmm.
whatever.
I don't
But
know.
it's Team Penske. Even before he owned the series, they've been good here. It's fine. The biggest note that I forgot about as of last week is that Penske they do have that alliance with AJ Foyt Racing, and they have Michael
Yeah.
Cannon who has really built up their program. That's why Santina Ferrucci has been really good there. I think that is what's really going on here with Team Penske is Penske now has Michael Cannon's book over there, and that's been the huge benefactor for them, and that's kind of why we're seeing this big change from last year to this year. It's not a conspiracy. Because is it also a conspiracy that Chip Ganassi Racing was just weirdly absent? Because Chip Ganassi Racing absent from the Fast 12 last year, past couple of years, they've just been dominant at Indianapolis, at least in
Yeah.
qualifying. And they don't make the Fast 12 first time since 2019. I would have never predicted that.
Didn't they get all
Ever.
5 of their cars in the Fast 12 like in 2022? I believe with
One of the
Jimmy. It was
years.
Jimmy and TK and the 3 full-time
Yeah,
entries, yeah. Um
that sounds right.
yeah, like so that was really weird, but then there's all these questions and we'll get into it I guess a little bit, but like what does this mean for race trim? Because we
Yeah.
saw a little bit of practice today. Scott McLaughlin, he seemed a little bit. I didn't really watch practice. I was kind of working and watching at the same time, but he didn't seem a little happy. He didn't seem that happy. Joseph had a little bit of a moment. Power looks solid.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know what that means for the race trim, but
And see, that's a theory that I'm having is that Penske went really all in on quali to try and get startup better, while the Hondas, they've been really good in qualifying in recent years. Maybe they took a step back because they focused
yeah,
on race
we
trim.
traded places.
Like maybe that's what happened. So then it's like, watch out for Hondas. And in the practice today, Zach, Colton Herta said like he loves his car.
He
And
looks very
that's
comfortable.
And, the NBC booth kept saying, "Wow, Herta, it seems like to be the best in race trim." They kept saying that, and I raise a flag of caution. I've been critical of Colton Herta, but I don't know if I wanna get on that ship too yet. That's just
I
yet, but
can't believe that Colton Herta can win a 500-mile race until I see him do it. So
yeah.
I don't
But
know. But he looks good.
he does look good.
He looks good. He looks great. Like you can't deny that.
And but on the same note, Alex Palou, like, with 15 minutes left in today's practice, which is the next to last practice, by the way. They don't go back on track till Carb Day on Friday.
Yeah.
But Alex Palou, they took his car back into the garage to make some more adjustments on it. Like they were not happy with the 10 car. And I think that's the biggest difference between this year and last year. Alex Palou was like the favorite from the start of the month all the way to during the race until the incident with he and Rinus VK when VK came out of his pit and crashed into Palou.
Yeah.
That was the kind of ender of Palou's chances, but Palou still finished pretty good. But that's what's so different. This year just feels like it's a free for all. Like, yeah, Penske's are probably the favorite, but that's qualifying. A little different. I don't know who's going to win this. So fantasy later in the episode is going to be really, really
I've been stressing
interesting.
about fantasy all day because I don't.
Yeah, I have picks. You have picks, but
I have picks.
I
But
don't
it's
know.
like it's Indy, and I feel like throwing up. Like it's just I'm so nervous
Yes.
about it. God.
Gosh, I can't wait to get there. We mentioned Kyle Larson. We need to talk about him real quick.
Oh, we do need to talk about. We need to.
Wow.
Sorry, I need to stretch. We need to talk about him for a minute.
For
You want my
audio
shirt?
people, Zack has a Larson shirt on. That's why he's
No, I don't have a
stretching.
Larson shirt on. I have the H1 1100. How do you say it? 1100 shirt on,
Uh-huh.
dude. Let me tell you, I was Kim Burton this whole weekend. Every time Larson was on track, I'm just like, I had a paper bag. I was like,
Oh
but
my god.
girl, and because I'm like, when is he gonna wreck? He's gonna wreck. He's gonna bobble. He's gonna have a moment. And Loki, when his engine, when he had the plenum issue on his first qualifying attempt, I was just like, darn it, why'd you do this with McLaren? They don't have their stuff together. But at the end of the weekend, he qualifies fifth.
That is far better than I would have ever predicted.
Because he's never, and yeah, you can say it's just holding it flat, but dude, you're having to make adjustments in the car. You're going 230 miles per hour, trying to keep the car smooth and stable, right? If there is a
Mhm.
moment, you got to do something about it. I don't think it's easy. I'm not going to say it's easy.
Far
Most
from it.
drivers don't say it's easy. It's for 4 laps. You're doing it over and over and over again. 2022 500 champion Marcus Ericsson completely forgot what lap he was on. Like it's that easy to have an error mentally. Like it's not
Yeah.
easy. So I don't think it's fair to say like, well, of course, he has a fast car and he's easy. Well, Pato Award, he beat Pato Award. Now again,
Mhm.
that could just be a difference in team, between the McLarens. But I don't even know what else to say because it's just like almost feels like a natural at this, and I guess that's kind of a part of Larson's character. Like he's so
Yeah.
adaptable. He's able to just hop in a car and just figure it out, and he's fast. I mean, he is fast. He's just as fast as all the other guys that are going to be competing for the win on Sunday. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's impressive. And it
Very.
kind of speaks to the preparation, that they've been doing. Because remember, I mean, he had the option or there was a possibility of him running the Indy 500 last year, but people around him, like Jeff Gordon, was like, let's give yourself a year for ultimate max preparation. And I think it's
And
paid off.
I would say he's the most well-prepared Indy 500 rookie, like, for a
Ever?
one-off there's ever probably been.
Yeah, ever.
Really. I mean, he's done so much testing. He's been so dedicated to all this. And by the way, shout out to him for being so open to the media. He's probably done like hundreds of thousands of interviews at this point, and he's always willing to do that. Slay of the week to Kyle Larson. Why not? Like
Thank you.
he's
Thank
really impressing me with how this is all turning out. And I just for him, I hope he just has a clean race. I don't necessarily expect him to win it, but like don't count him out. Don't count him out
I mean,
of
he's starting fifth. Like
he's starting
his
fifth.
car is
And
fast. He's an oval. He's an oval guy. It's not like this is so
yeah.
foreign to him. I mean, Alonso, not even an oval guy, ran pretty good here a few years ago. I mean,
Yep.
that's why. Again, I still don't really have expectations for him. That's kind of. I didn't have expectations for him in qualifying, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. I just knew that he was going to have a fast car and he has potential. But to make the fast six, though, that just kind of it just felt it was so cool seeing him with the Penske guys with all in the same graphic. It just felt so surreal.
Yep. And also Slay of the Week, the Team Penske, by the way, if that wasn't obvious. Sweeping the front row, locking it out. And then we'll talk about the All-Star race later, but
I
they
mean,
did win that too.
they're gonna have control of this race. I mean,
Yeah.
for however long it's gonna be, they're gonna have control of this race. And
Yep.
David Lane was talking about it a little bit in his coverage on Sunday, like after qualifying. Like if they play this right, they could lead every single lap of the Indy 500. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's talk about the Plenum event thing. That was really interesting. We kind of talked about it here and there, but that was mostly a Chevy issue.
Because we're
JR
experts.
Hildebrand was the first person to really talk about it on Twitter, and that's when I first heard about it, was JR Hildebrand.
Yep.
And I guess it's just an issue like when you're shifting. I don't know exactly what happens here, but it was just a Chevy issue,
I
and
know. He explained it, and I'm just like, whatever that means.
yeah, exactly. But
Like,
but Chevrolet said, "Yeah, we're pushing really hard to try and do everything we can because it's the Indianapolis 500," and I love that.
it was something
It's
about fuel, and it gets sparked, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I don't know,
Car,
something when
car,
they
don't go
shift,
fast. That's all
but
I heard.
it wasn't really a factor in the Fast 12, right? I don't think anyone had the issue
From
in Fast
I
12.
believe they had a strategy where it's just like they were going to avoid shifting gears. So,
Yeah,
which it didn't affect their speed at all, to be honest. I mean, no Hondas made it into the Fast Six, so
yeah.
three
And
Hondas at the
9 of the
door.
Fast 12 were Chevys.
Yeah.
And
So,
also, side note, everyone in Bump Day was a Honda.
ooh, true.
So, something to
Yeah.
consider. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fun little side plot that was happening on the Saturday.
Because we normally
Because
never
like,
see reliability
yeah,
or engine troubles, but
it was
that's what's going to
nice.
happen if you're pushing it to the limit, which is what Indy. Well, that's what the Indy 500 is all about. That's
Yeah,
the history of it. But so I think
yeah,
that was really cool to see, and they got it figured out for Sunday, I guess. Right? I
right.
we should hopefully. I guess we won't see that for the rest of the race because it's race trim now. So
Yeah.
or rest of the week, I
And
guess.
before we talk about Bump Day, I mentioned Rena's VK earlier, had an incredible
Girl, no,
lap,
Slay of the Week
and
to Rena's VK because
ooh,
they
yeah,
built a faster. Someone on Twitter said this. They built a faster car in 3 hours after wrecking it than Graham Rahal and that 15 team did in a year.
just in the year. Yeah.
Like, wreck your car on your first qualifying run, and you come back at the end of the day to
Same
get
day.
yourself in the Fast 12. What a call by Lee Diffie, by the way. That was an amazing
Brilliant.
call. Lee was
The
not missing this weekend.
the
Oh my god.
last seconds of the session and Rena's VK got it into the Fast 12. Just
Yeah.
that was such a good moment. I love this series
And he
so much.
withdrew his time from the 500 to do it, right?
Yes,
Remember,
he did.
he was going to be safely in the 500, I believe. He was like
Yeah.
28th or 29th. He was down there, but he took
Because
himself.
there was a really long line in the
Yeah,
line to keep your time. Like Alex Palou was leading it
the
because he
safe
was not in
line.
the Fast
Yeah,
12. Yeah. And Rena's VK goes in, withdrew his time, and gets into the Fast 12. Just so cool. Love
yeah.
it.
But there was a lot of risk there. I mean, because I mean, what if he crashes or something or goes? I don't even know what. I guess what if he had a big bobble or something and ruins the run.
Yeah.
Graham gets back out there, takes VK to bump day, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
big risk.
Well, speak of bump day, let's kind of wrap up here with Nolan Siegel, unfortunately, was the driver who was bumped from the Indy 500.
Well,
He's
let's
only
talk about like
19.
the four contenders in bump day because that was the most interesting part of it. Where you
Yeah.
had Nolan Siegel, and we said last week we expected Nolan Siegel and Catherine Legg to be kind of fighting for that last spot because
Yeah.
everyone else looked pretty fast. It was hard for us to tell who's going to be getting bumped, but we expected Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan to get their stuff together this year, and they didn't.
Well, they did, except one car. I mean, the 30 car was the last one in before bump day, but the
No, well,
15 was
Christian
still
Lundgaard
really
wasn't good
slow.
either, though. So no. If anything,
Takuma
they
Sato made the Fast 12 for
yeah,
RRL.
but like I'm saying, like their three full-time teams were so bad, like still like at the bottom of the
Right.
grid, basically.
But the 45 was like a couple spots better than last year. And then last year, the 30 was in the bump day, and this year wasn't. Like, there was
Well, I'm glad they got a
slight
little bit
improvement.
better, but, like, still, like, to put
Yeah,
Graham Rahal in that same position.
but the thing is, Graham Rahal was still, like, 2 miles an hour slower than the 30 car,
I mean, his
is what
name's
my
on the
point is.
car. Like, his
Yeah,
name's on the team,
yeah, and
and you're gonna put that guy in the same position?
Graham Rahal was talking about how Takuma Sato's engine's just clearly better. It was just like, "Come on, man."
He was
It's
so whiny.
the
If I
common
had the energy, I'd
denominator
give him
is
a
the
crying
15
towel.
car.
Oh my god, he
Yeah,
was so he
but
yap. Oh my gosh.
but unf Nolan Siegel, though, he ended up crashing in practice, had a flip. I think it really hurt his confidence. He's only 19, guys. Like, that's gotta be really difficult.
Bro.
First time at trying
Bro's
to get to
got
the
an
Indy
essay due.
500,
Bro had an essay due. Like, what are you talking about? He
but,
had finals this week. What are you talking what? 19. Oh.
but yeah, he does not make the Indy 500, and he in his interview after, he said, like, "That was the best run I ever had at this track, and it still wasn't good enough." So, I hope he's doing okay. I hope he has, like, moral support around him. Charlie
Well,
Kimball said that he was very proud of him on the radio, which was very sweet to hear. Tony Kanaan went over and gave him some advice before the final runs as well.
remember, Pato
We're gonna hear
didn't
about it
Pato
before.
Award miss the 500 in 2019? Believe
I
I
think
think Pato
so.
missed the 500. So, I mean, people miss the 500. Graham Rahal misses the 500. Big names miss
Mhm.
the 500.
Yeah.
So, it's not a someone had to
But
miss
as I
it.
was saying, you'll hear his name more. He's doing good in Indy
I
next, it
like
sounds like.
him.
So,
I
yeah.
like him. Because I was really rooting for him hard. I wanted to see Erickson. I wanted to see Erickson or Rahal bumped out so bad. I was
The
rooting for
drama.
Nolan Siegel, spelled like the bird, and Kathy Legs. That's my nickname. I kind of hate that nickname. I swear I'm not trying to like be weird. I'm gay, obviously. Kathy Legs.
What's funny?
Kathy
But,
Legs and Nolan Siegel. Caw.
But yeah,
Love
we'll
them.
talk more about the actual Indy 500 here in a bit. We'll make our picks. I don't know what we're gonna pick.
I still
Uh,
don't. I don't even know if I don't know. I'm just.
You just gonna back out of the weekend? Just like I'm not picking anyone.
I missed. I got kicked. I don't know. I don't even know. I pick
So
Jimmy
yes,
Johnson or something.
so yeah. Stay tuned for our fantasy picks at the end of the show. But Zach, we're gonna move from what is the greatest qualifying session of the year to what's probably the most least interesting race of the year. The NASCAR All Star Race was at North Wilkesboro. And you
Yeah.
know what? It actually kind of was interesting, but not for the on track product. Stuff off track.
It's well. Man. What a. I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are because I what did I let's what were our expectations going into the weekend? I think
Well,
our expectations was the track's repaved
it's gonna be
and
awful.
it's going to be awful and Goodyear's bringing a softer tire, but they've
And
tried this before with an option tire and it
yeah,
didn't do anything. That kind of happened. Surprisingly that happened again and but the repave actually was very successful. The
yeah,
truck race was amazing from what I watched, and the racing in the open was good. Even when the cars were racing a little bit last night, there were multiple grooves. It wasn't like a conveyor belt. Like there was multi lanes. I progressive banking certainly is going to help with that. Um, so the repave, the track, I don't think the track gets an A plus for me. Like
in like 3 years, the more it wears out, it's gonna be a really good track.
yeah,
Especially if they can fix the short tracks and with this current car, it's gonna be a really good track. And that's exciting to really think about.
yeah.
Because they were able to be side by side, but they just couldn't pass with how this car is. But
Yeah, and again, that's a
we
feature of short
whatever.
track racing, but there's still little I mean, Hamlin
Yeah.
couldn't even get to Logano last night. Like, it just wasn't
Yeah.
happening, so
And
there's still that big issue.
yeah, but Joey Logano did win the race. He led a lot of it.
Penske is
Now
so back.
Penske strikes back, man.
When
They're here.
one Penske team does good, the other one just is like, "Oh, I gotta step it up too."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the tires, I think it worked better in the sunlight, it sounds
That's
like. I
what
guess
people
the
are
open was
saying.
pretty good. I was watching qualifying, so I did not watch the open.
People said in practice that the layer was pretty good in practice, but it's practice. It's also not a rubbered in track. And then the truck rate, well, that doesn't matter. Truck tires, sorry. The open, that's what I'm gonna say. The open in the open, the racing was it was. I mean, Ty Gibbs ran away from it, but the racing like kind of for the transfer spot and a little bit on back, it was pretty good. They're
Mhm.
3 wide at points, but you also have to consider that's the back half of the Cup Series field. Those cars, their setups might not be as fine tuned. Those cars might be harder on the tires. The drivers might be making more mistakes. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
but and also the sun was out. The temperature was higher. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was the thing about this Goodyear tire is it's a flop. That was a flop. Like that whole experiment was just a flop.
But I hope they don't give up on the idea because you don't agree?
I'm not
Because
saying I don't agree. I'm just like I'm kind of irritated or I'm a little frustrated that like in my opinion this tire thing is just a band-aid. Is that unfair?
fair. That I think that's fair, but I think it'd be nice if they did that on top of a better performing car. If they did
Like
both
yes, I want to
things,
stop
that'd be
bleeding,
good.
but like
Yeah.
if I'm going to die anyways, like I don't need a band-aid.
I'd like it if they tried this on a short track in the day. Like I know Gateway's in 2 weeks, so probably not Gateway, but like New Hampshire, do it at New Hampshire. See what happens.
The reason I'm just not sold on the tires anymore is because according to Denny Hamlin, he's saying that Goodyear said that the tires can't get much they can't make tires that much softer.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, girl, because that tire did nothing.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything last night. And while I was like, okay, well, it was a night race. Well, so just no more night races? What if it rains and a race gets pushed back to night? Like, what happens then?
Right.
Like,
But that's kind of the thing is that not every race is going to be spectacular either. So I mean, and the
still, I mean,
conditions are going to be different from track to track and
I
location to
bet if the trucks
location.
raced last night, they would have had a good race. You know what?
I
I
think
am
they
just,
should I think they should give it another go on a track in the daylights and get more notes. I say
yeah.
try it at New Hampshire
Like,
next or in
I'm
July.
definitely
I think
not
that'd be good.
saying ditch the whole idea, but like, I'm just of the belief that even if they go as soft as they can go,
Mhm.
if it does make a difference, it will be a short term difference because once the teams figure it out, it'll be whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how soft you got to make the tire, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just not very convinced at this point. And it was one of those races when Denny Hamlin is spending the first 20 minutes of his podcast explaining for the 20th time why the next gen car sucks. It was one of those races.
Well, Zach, let's talk about what everyone's waiting for us to talk about if they're a NASCAR
What?
listener.
What happened?
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. versus Kyle Busch was
Okay,
quite a
listen.
fun thing that happened.
Can I just
Yes.
say I've never liked Ricky Stenhouse Jr. more.
Oh,
Never.
okay.
And I remember the night when we were watching the duels together in like 2020. I was like sick or
Mhm.
something. Remember Ricky kept like air wrecking everybody? He kept wrecking everybody
Vaguely,
just with
yeah.
the air.
Mhm.
Like, and it was just like Ricky. I liked Ricky that night because he was funny. He just kept
Yeah.
wrecking everybody. But to, last night, the whole attitude, he referenced Richard Childress holding his watch.
That was funny.
He told the
What a
media,
callback.
just watch what I'm gonna do. He looked at Kyle Busch straight in the face wearing his gay little yellow shorts. Ricky Stenhouse said, let me wear these yellow shorts to go talk to this man. Let's go fight this man, actually. He didn't want to talk much. Looks him straight in the face. He says, watch the replay and catch these hands. Because I'm going to slap the hell out of you. What? I mean, my jaw was... I was not looking at my phone during that fight. Let me tell you that. Because normally after a
Mhm.
race, I'm on Twitter. But then, okay, what is everyone saying? Girl, I think I dropped my phone. Because, like...
So, my favorite part of this is that the incident happened, like, in lap 1 or something,
This
and
is
Ricky
yes, this is
Stenhouse
crazy.
says to the media, "Oh, well, I'm gonna talk to him after the race, so you'll see what I'm gonna do after the race." And I'm like, "Oh, he's just mad. He's not actually gonna do anything. Whatever." But the thing is that North Wilkesboro, they don't have a tunnel, they don't have a bridge to like leave the infield. So Ricky Stenhouse has to just sit in the infield mad that he got wrecked out very early. So he's just kind of these emotions just piling up. But from my perspective, I thought NASCAR would talk to him. I thought he would get cooled down by like other team members. But I think what happened was he said all this talk to the media. He's like, "Well, now I got to stick to my word. I got to go punch him now, I
I
guess."
beat his ass. Darn.
And
Well,
oh my gosh, the videos because nothing happened in this race. So all the media is surrounded by Kyle Busch because they're like, "Okay, Ricky's probably going to do something, right?" All the media. There's every single different angle you could imagine of this. They're all following Kyle Busch back to his hauler. Ricky Stenhouse is there posing. He's leaning with his yellow
bro
shorts,
said he
looking
was
ridiculous.
leaning.
He was
Oh, that was
leaning.
amazing. In those yellow shorts, he looked ridiculous. He
He
really did.
did not look menacing at all. And Kyle approaches him. They start talking, and I think Ricky was waiting for him to say something like egregious, but then he
Say
just
something
decks him
stupid.
out of nowhere. And then they start fighting. The security guards are in there. The security
That
guards were ready.
that guy, I'm pretty sure that was the same guy that broke up the Chastain and Gregson fight.
I'm
That
pretty sure it
guy,
was. Yeah.
the brown skin, bald head,
Yeah.
get him out of the track. I'm tired of him.
It's his job, but my
Oh,
my favorite part was that the fights all split up. And by the way, Kyle Busch landed a punch on Ricky Stenhouse's
dude,
dad.
dude, why is his dad there? Why'd you
And
bring your dad
but
to a
did
fight?
did you see the clip of Ricky yelling, "Dad, get my dad"?
Get my-
Did,
I love how Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi were just like, "Oh no, my dad's gonna embarrass me."
yeah.
It's like
But
yeah,
my favorite part though was afterward they're all split up and Ricky
yes,
says, "I'm going to wreck you at Charlotte." And Kyle says, "I don't give an F.
he probably
We both
will.
suck anyway."
They'll be battling for 20th. Of course they will.
I
Is
love
he
Kyle
really
Busch, man.
though? He's a man of his word, as we found out.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Now to do all this over a non-points race, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that personally. I don't know.
Like,
Maybe I
why are
would.
you so mad about a useless race that you weren't going
That
to
you
win
were not going
anyway?
to. Neither of y'all was going to win. I guess maybe they're bored. What if that was fake? My
Mm.
new WWE.
You know, here's a conspiracy theory for you.
Okay.
Kroger's rumored to be leaving JTG. What if
Mm,
this was like, let's get Kroger some TV time real quick and let's
true.
But
True.
then Ricky didn't wear the Kroger stuff for the fight. He just
Yeah,
wore his
that's
yellow
true.
shorts.
Well, you expected him to. Well, so that made me think. So did he have a change of clothes? Like,
Looks like he was wearing pajamas.
well, that's the
So
thing.
I
Because
don't know.
if he can't leave the track, then who's getting him those clothes? Like, did he bring those into the track
Well, yeah,
knowing that?
probably.
Well, if he has a personal bag, then maybe that was in the personal bag, like in the. Yeah, that makes sense then. Um, yeah,
But
that whole thing, that was honestly probably my favorite fight in NASCAR history. I know the one at
uh,
Texas with Gordon and Keselowski was like really good too, but I think that was my favorite fight because there's so much to laugh at and
it
find
was just so
entertaining about it.
silly. It was
And
so
there's so many
funny.
layers to it. Ricky's dad, Ricky's shorts,
The
Kyle
Bob
Busch saying you sucked
Pockris
it. Don't
pose.
that might be the best part. Poor Bob Pockris
Oh,
is
poor
catching strays.
Bob.
That
Bob's
I saw that this
video.
morning and I could
It like
not stop laughing.
it stops at his face, and he has and it's his
He looks
profile
like
picture right now on
I don't think I could
socials.
recreate it. He's just like it looks like me what I would look like if I'm like about to drop something, like dropping a whole pot
Yeah.
of chili or something, or I don't know. Like
How did his camera stop on his face for like 2 seconds to get that image? I don't understand how that happened. It is wonderful though.
that's a national treasure. That is just
Sl-
a
I'm gonna give Slay of the Week to Bob Pockris because what a man. He deserves it. But like that is just
but
amazing.
that is
And
my
then
favorite fight in NASCAR history. I don't think that gets topped.
Bob embraced the thing. That's what I was about to say. He embraced it and made it this
Oh
profile
yeah.
picture. Slay of the Week to Bob.
I'm sorry, but that was a good moment for the sport.
It's funny. You get
NASCAR is in such a
coverage.
role right now. We've had
That's 2
like
weeks in a row of post-race confrontations, and then
yeah,
the
and
week
before
before
that we
was
had the Kansas
Kansas.
finish. I mean, we are just on a roll. And
Yeah.
the race completely sucked.
Yep.
So yeah, listen, if y'all ain't gonna fix the short tracks, then let's get these drivers mad at each other. I don't know, man. Keep me entertained. Tell you what, we're
And
gonna be
next
watching 20th place on lap 8 next
yeah.
week. Good lord.
Well, and then next week's 600, and that's been a banger with this car, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
You and I are gonna find a way to stay awake for that after Indy.
We'll be awake. We'll be fine. We have energy drinks or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Love to get some
But
coffee.
yeah, I think that's. I feel like I had something else to say about the All Star race. I mean, Logano winning. He's been pretty good at short tracks this year, I will say. And
Yeah, Ford
Blaney,
seemed better.
Blaney was fast too.
Yep.
They're gonna win again at Phoenix. They're winning again. Y'all are gonna Ford's gonna run like this all year long, and then in the playoffs they come back and win the championship. Watch,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
All right. So, are we ready to go into the T?
Yeah,
Oh. Oh, you are disappointed, but yes, we will go into the
girl,
T. What?
we're gonna have to get girl.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I guess we might as well. So let's start with. I hate starting with this. Let's not start with this. We're gonna start with the NASCAR stuff since we just talked about NASCAR. Okay, I don't want to start on a bad note. I gotta get the tea warmed up properly. So
Girl, if we're gonna be
NASCAR.
doing this zoomed in camera for our video people, you gotta stop hitting your desk. You look like you're in an earthquake. Zack has left.
You
I have
are literally
offended
so
him.
annoying. I'm sorry. I have ADHD.
Girl, that's going on TikTok, and it's gonna be like boom, 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 like your camera's
I'm
going nuts.
okay. Listen, if I can help myself, I will try not to. But if not, we're just gonna have to zoom out because I don't know.
Oh my god,
Also,
that
they
was
can
so
see
funny.
y'all can see my beard. I hate this. Anyways, so NASCAR is planning a wet weather test later this year at Homestead Miami Speedway because they want to experiment with the technology at bigger racetracks. I
Interesting.
I love you, NASCAR. I've been wanting them to try that for a while. It's ever since they went to the Charlotte Roval. I'm doing it again with rain tires. Um, I've been like, dude, it's just a little bit of banking. I know you can do it. You'll be okay. I promise you'll be okay. Um, because would it be a complete like would it be a complete disaster if they tried it in a race one day? Maybe. But we love disasters. They're fun to watch at
Oh
this
my
point.
god. Mm-hmm.
I think, and also, I mean, they really do. We saw what it did at Richmond. As soon as it stopped raining, and they kind of stayed ahead of it, right,
Mm-hmm.
keeping the track as dry as possible, or at least wet as possible. Um, they were able to get back racing, and it saved time. And yeah, if you can do this at bigger tracks, why not? I bet the racing would probably be really different and interesting too, because
Yeah.
I believe every
I
track would become a multi-groove racetrack at that point. I don't
I
know.
don't think we're gonna see a race anytime soon on a big
Oh well,
track with
yeah,
rain, but it is neat that they're trying it. I think you're a bit
yeah, it's necessary to try it.
ambitious. You're a bit ambitious with your thinking that they'd actually do it, I think, but I like that
I'm
they're
not. I'm
gonna
not.
try it.
These cars got enough grip. The next gen cars, they have enough grip. They could do it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too dangerous, but if they can figure out the technology to make it
Oh,
work,
10
that'd be
years
cool.
ago, I don't think people would expect them to do that kind of
No,
tire at
definitely
ovals
not.
at all. But now we're doing it on ovals. I mean,
Yeah.
but also there's
Well,
this NASCAR is definitely like quits. Like no pun intended. They're dipping their toes into this rain wet stuff. Like they
yeah.
haven't figured out how to actually run a strategy race with wet tires yet. Maybe they'll figure it out one day, but this is a step that they have to take. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and speak of ovals, apparently, according to Carson Hocevar, Rockingham is coming back next year. Um,
yeah.
you sent me this, and I'm not sure if he was trolling or not. I can't tell with him.
Well,
He's a bit of a troll sometimes.
whether he's trolling or not, I think it's gonna happen anyways. At
I
some
mean,
point.
that track is they just like repaved it. The grandstands, I believe, they've fixed a lot of it. They've upgraded a lot of the facility, basically. So like it is ready to host an event, and I think the track has publicly said like, yeah, we want to have NASCAR back in some capacity. I doubt it would be Cup, but the way Carson was talking, if he was being legit, it would be Cup, right? Or
That's
maybe
the
that's
thing
just
about it.
NASCAR General. I don't know.
And maybe it's an all-star race kind of thing, putting Wilkesboro on the schedule as a points race. Because
Well,
I
All
think
Star Race is already confirmed to be at North
right.
Wilkesboro again next year.
Yeah, true. But the only thing about it is just like, you can't saturate the Carolinas too much
Yeah.
because that's not going to help you grow the
These
sport.
last week they were in Darlington, South Carolina. This week, North Wilkesboro, which is in North Carolina, and then
Yeah.
next week they're in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's
Which
already 3 weeks in a row, which I think is cool.
it's
Like
a
a little,
Carolina swing. It's fine. Because what?
yeah.
Are those the
But
only tracks really in the Carolinas? I guess. Ish. Yeah, I
I
guess.
mean, there's other ones near-ish
Like
by, like Bristol
Atlanta-ish,
and Martinsville, but
Bristol.
like,
Yeah, you're right.
but they're not in North Carolina. But
I'm
if you
shaking my
add
fist.
in Rockingham, that'd be a third one in that
Yeah.
little area.
And like, where do you put it on the schedule?
Yeah,
I don't
like
know, but
there's a
hey,
reason that they cut that track in North Wilkesboro years and years and years ago. And I'm
what's the
not saying it
reason?
was the right thing, but still.
I saw someone last night, and this was between the whole debate of if last night's race was good at North Wilkesboro, but someone said that the highlight of North Wilkesboro throughout its history was a scoring error when Jeff Bodine won that race or didn't win that race because they counted laps wrong or something.
Mm,
As like that track never put on like that barn burner racing.
barn burner.
Barn burner. I don't know what a barn beater is. I don't know what that means. Anyways, um, which I don't know. I'm too young to even fathom what North Wilkesboro was like back in the day. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I like
that'll
the
be
Rock though.
interesting.
It's one of those really unique racetracks that I think would
I-
have really good racing. So
If that were to happen, I feel like we're going to hear about it somewhat soon because NASCAR announced a ton of schedule stuff in the past like 2 weeks, and we
yeah.
talked about most of them last week. Uh, schedule's coming together,
Listen,
so
if
we'll
Iowa
see.
can get on the schedule, the Rock
Yeah,
can get on the schedule.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
So
Well, to wrap up the tea, we have two more things that are not exactly positive stories. Uh, which one do you like to start with? The NASCAR
let's
one?
start the top. Let's do the top. I'm not ready to talk about
Okay.
him.
So
Um, so during
you
practice
got it?
on is this Friday? I think it happened. I guess it doesn't
I don't
matter.
remember.
Alex Pillow's making a lap, and as we know, Alex Pillow has the Pride Rainbow DHL livery. Townsend Bell was, talking about the livery, complimenting the paint scheme, but he called it a Jeff Gordon tribute, and he didn't say. Well, what did he say? Didn't he say like it reminds him of Jeff Gordon? No,
He
I think
said
he said it's a nice Jeff Gordon tribute.
I think he was joking because I think he chuckled when he said it. It's a Jeff Gordon tribute with the nice rainbows, blah blah blah. But I I don't like that he did that.
I don't like
uh
that he did that either. I just don't think it
now
was funny.
no. The because it's a Pride livery. It is for Pride Month, which is right after the Indy 500.
There is a level of respect that I feel like you should give that.
And the thing is that there's even a crypto car this year with Connor Daly, and they'll highlight that. They'll talk about crypto. Like last year, past couple years, they'll talk
Yeah.
about all these crypto themed cars.
Oh
But then you
yeah.
get a Pride livery, and they joke about it,
They
and it's
joke
just
about it.
like
Yeah.
it's just a like I don't expect the NBC booth to be like Pride Month, yay, we love gay people. Like I don't expect them to do that. That'd be awesome. Don't get me wrong, but personally, I
Just
don't
say
expect
it.
them to do that.
Just
Just
say
say
celebrating Pride Month. Why is that so hard to say? Because honestly, Alex, I do expect that. And I don't mean to be like entitled, but I expect that. It's Pride Month. You have a Pride car on the track for your race. I think it's appropriate to mention Pride Month. Sorry.
I
I
mean,
don't,
that's what DHL's doing. That's literally
yeah.
what DHL's whole campaign is.
I mean,
But
yeah. I don't care if it shouldn't be uncomfortable. It shouldn't be weird. It's not
no. But
inappropriate.
and all you really need to say is just
Pride
that.
Month.
Like
It's a Pride Month car to celebrate Pride Month. That's it.
Pride livery. You just leave it at that. Like it's not
And
that
you can
deep,
say
but
it looks cool And
Yeah.
then maybe then after you mention that, it kind of reminds me of Jeff Gordon's blah 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 Rainbow Warrior scheme.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. I just felt a little disrespected in that moment. And I know,
Yeah.
God, the middle schoolers on Twitter, or not even middle school, the old people on Twitter would have so much to say about what we just said. Frankly, obviously, I don't care. But it's because I don't want to sound like I want this and this and this, and I want the whole race to be about pride and like I just it's our little thing, right, Alex? It's our little thing, and I just want it to get the proper respect. Is that too much to ask for?
No.
You know?
No. Like, we never thought this would happen. We thought maybe this would be, like, another, like, decade or 2 away when we started the podcast. Like, this was something we talked about early on, and if it's happened, this is the 3rd year in a row that DHL specifically is doing this, and for it to just kinda be laughed off as a joke on the broadcast, albeit a practice broadcast, it is hurtful. Like, it's a bit
It
like,
is a little,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when I mean, and this isn't the first time that I've heard like a prominent media member kind of make a joke about that, and
Yeah.
it's just like let's all you got to do is just either say you like it, call it Pride Month, or say nothing at all. Don't make a
Yeah.
joke about
I'd
it's not
prefer if
that
they
hard.
said nothing, personally. Well, and this is a great transition into the next topic
If
because it's been reported that the former president, Donald Trump, is going to attend the Coca Cola 600. Um, and that the reason we bring this up is because it could potentially impact Kyle Larson's plans to get to Charlotte Motor Speedway after the Indy 500. Why? Because
yeah, why?
w-
I
with
get it, but I don't.
with presidents and former presidents, they get a lot of security, protection, and personnel.
Yeah, even
And
after
yeah,
they serve
but they might lock down like the air
the
restriction, air
airspace.
travel for the airspace of where he is located. And I'm not sure if this fully goes into former presidents. I'm pretty sure it does though. So what might happen is Kyle Larson might not be able to fly a helicopter into the speedway. He might have to fly into the nearest by airport and then get in a car and drive to Charlotte instead because he won't be able to like land directly at the speedway like he did last night at North Wilkesboro.
Can he at least get a police escort like in the Drake and Josh
Something.
movie?
And
He needs a he needs a police escort
yeah, something.
for our
But
national hero.
so I'm assuming this was an invite from SMI. Okay. I don't think this is a NASCAR invite, but we don't know. Or maybe he's just showing up. But my problem here is that just 4 years ago, this guy attacked the sport and he attacked Bubba Wallace.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
And he was just saying that he's done with NASCAR. He made all of his supporters go after the sport and
I
Bubba
forgot
Wallace. And
about
Bubba
that.
Wallace still deals with it to this day. He shouldn't, NASCAR should say, no, don't come to our event because you literally disrespected us. And I understand that'd be a bunch of, you know, there'd be a lot of things that would happen after that, a lot of backlash. But like, he caused so much turmoil within the sport. Not even that's not even getting into all of his politics or during his presidency, but that just talking about what he did to NASCAR specifically, like you're just gonna welcome back in. Like
Would
I
NASCAR
don't
be
like
able to
that.
block this? Because this just came out today.
So
I don't. I
right.
wonder,
My hope is that they can work with like the Secret Service and be like, hey, we have our superstar
dude.
in Indianapolis
Listen,
flying in. He's doing something historic. Can you let him fly in through the airspace and just make an
coolest race car
exception?
driver ever. Runs the Indy 500, Coca Cola 600, and gets an exception from the Secret Service in the same day.
So
Coolest race car driver ever.
I'm hoping that they can make an agreement like that happen. But I think the bigger problem is that they're just gonna, you know, brush aside what happened 4 years ago. But
Because
we'll
I
see.
don't, yeah, I don't imagine that happening because it's the Secret Service. They don't know. They're not going to do that. They
But
don't
it's
care.
just it's like this is something that hasn't happened in 10
It's just
years.
like
It's a huge deal. Like,
it's
why would you
so
add another
rude.
potential barrier?
It
Yeah,
is so rude last minute to come in and it's ruining one of the biggest stories,
potentially.
possibly ruining one of the
But
biggest stories in the sport.
like I think NASCAR, they delayed the All-Star race by a little bit. If this were to cause a delay. I think they would. It sounds like delay the start. We don't know.
I
There was
think
some
they would.
there was some debate about that last night on social media. I don't care.
Yeah,
They
I
can
guess.
debate it, especially if he were to win. Let Larson do the celebratory stuff. Like, whatever.
Like, do you really want like yes, maybe in the past they didn't do the same thing for Robbie Gordon or whatever, but
Hmm.
that's like arguing against student loan forgiveness, you know? It's like sure, maybe it wasn't a good thing in the past, but like let's do something good now.
Yeah.
We why do we have to keep that precedent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Um
hopefully this is something that don't even matter,
I
but it's definitely newsworthy, so we wanted to mention it. But I hope
Lando
this isn't
Norris?
an
Where's
impact.
Lando Norris? He's winning Monaco that day, isn't he? Last time Trump was at a racetrack, Lando Norris and McLaren, McLaren at the 500.
Yeah.
They're locking
Yeah.
in. Why? I
It's
think Trump should do the double. Actually,
oh
he should
god.
go to Indy and the 600 on the same day.
Oh Jesus.
That'd be
Anyway,
great.
that's our
I
political
want to meet him.
segment.
I want to meet him.
No, you don't.
We're gonna match. I'm wearing orange that day. I'm wearing the orange McLaren jersey. We're gonna match.
Someone's gonna
I
think you're
still can't believe.
serious.
I cannot believe he picked the orange F1 team. He picked
That
the
is pretty
orange
funny.
F1. That
That
will
is pretty
never not
funny.
be funny. What a month of
Uh,
May. This has been the best month ever. As a motorsports fan, the
yeah.
Miami stuff with Trump, the closest finish in NASCAR history, the Indy stuff, Chris Bush, everything. It's great. The fight. Oh my god. I love this.
God.
And the best part hasn't even gotten here yet.
Well, let's talk about the best part because
Can I
it's the Indy
shake my desk
500.
now? Can I shake my desk?
Sure, it looks like you're in an earthquake again, but by all means.
When an earthquake's actually gonna happen, and you're gonna just think I'm like whatever.
So the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 are this weekend. And
Oh, I gotta put.
Zach, are you gonna remember to pull up the fantasy pick graphic
I
this
guess we'll
week?
find out. I don't know. God, it's because I'm so nervous about it.
Yeah, there's I don't know what I don't
Shares
know who you're gonna pick, but we're gonna make Indy 500 picks first.
fantasy picks. All right, you see it? Yep, there we go.
Yep.
All right. Let me get my pick ready.
All right.
Um, are you
I
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. I also have a pick, so we're gonna paste in 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
I am trying to pick Kyle Larson for the Indianapolis 500, and Alex is going to pick William Power.
I didn't think you were gonna do Larson. That's awesome. Good for
Here's
you.
my thing. I don't know who to pick, so I'm gonna just pick Kyle. I don't care. When else am I gonna get to pick him for the Indy 500? I don't know.
Fair.
So
Fair.
I'm gonna pick him for. I don't care. I'm just going. I'm going. What's that Diddy thing? All in,
All
but
in.
1100. Yeah.
Yeah.
um. Why Will? Why Will instead of Scotty or Joseph? What do you think? What are you thinking?
So I think based on what I've seen in practice, and I got some feedback on Twitter, not intentionally. I was just like, I don't know who to pick for
I
fantasy,
did see
and
that. I saw that
and
tweet.
I had a couple of people who listened to the pod respond say pick willpower, or they're picking willpower, um, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I think Power, from what I've could gather, seemed to have the best of the Penske cars, the best in race trim. Joseph was getting passed a lot. Maybe that was on purpose, and that's just blindsiding me here. But also, no one has gone back to back since Elio Castroneves, very long time ago. Scott McLaughlin hasn't had a finish that good at Indianapolis at all. I don't know if he's going to just have a breakthrough and win it. He could. I do feel like it's going to be a Penske, like if nothing crazy happens. So I'm going to go with Will Power, and I think he's best in race trim of the three. Because Scott McLaughlin, they were changing all sorts of things today as well on the three car. If it's not, though, I do want to kind of go into that. We mentioned earlier Colton Herta looked really good, but I don't really see that happening. But
Well,
I do want to shout out. I think Alexander Rossi could
he looks really
be
good.
like we say this every year with him. He seems a bit angry, and we haven't really seen that in quite
He
a
was
while.
talking so much trash about Penske yesterday, or
He
like just like
was.
shading them, and I'm just like, girl. like, just enjoy the fact that you're relevant.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Yeah.
kind of fighting back, and someone got mad at me. I'm like, girl, not, like enjoy the fact that he's relevant and
Yeah.
actually fast. Like, because you haven't won much, dude. You haven't won much in a while. So, um, what do you think about my Larson pick? What is it? What are the? Because again, it's like I don't have expectations, so I don't. He could win.
He Considering how well Fernando Alonso did in that one attempt, I wouldn't rule it out.
Dude, I
I
looked
think
at the odds.
Alonso could have won the Indy 500 if he didn't have a mechanical issue that day.
I checked the odds, like the Vegas odds or whatever, and Larson had
Mhm.
the third best odds. So
I think a lot
Vegas.
of that I talked
Mhm.
with our friend Jackson Todd about that because he makes bets and stuff. He thinks a lot of people are putting money on Larson, so his odds are going up so people don't make as much money on him.
Oh,
And also, I said, what if they're factoring in the fact that he's really good in NASCAR and they might not know a lot about IndyCar. So like, oh, Kyle Larson, he's gonna be good.
well, hmm.
I think there's different factors to that. I don't know for sure what's actually true on that, but
But also he hasn't had a whole misstep this entire month.
no,
That's the
he's.
thing.
I definitely think he's gonna lead some laps, like at the absolute minimum. I
Yeah.
don't rule him out. I don't underestimate Kyle Larson this month
Yeah.
or this weekend. So that's gonna be
This month,
fun.
this month of May.
It's the month of May. I will say another one to watch out for potentially is the Shank cars. Rosenquist, who I picked for qualifying, didn't work out in points, but they look a lot better than they have since Elio last won. So dark horse right
And
there.
Elio,
Elio.
I would love to see him win his fifth and say I got to be
Ooh, that'd be
there.
cool.
There's
Yeah.
so many guys that could win the 500, and I'd be extremely
And
happy.
by the way, if we would have made these picks a week ago, I would have picked Alex Pillow in a heartbeat. You
Oh
probably would have
yeah.
as well.
Oh, I
And
would
then I
have.
would have
That
went
was
Scott
I
Dixon.
was planning, and I even thought about it again today. I wasn't really sold on it.
It'd be
So
a very Scott Dixon win if he were to win after having his worst qualifying at Indianapolis ever.
yeah.
But we'll see. Well, now let's do the Coca-Cola 600.
Ugh,
And I'm curious who you're going to pick for this.
I am too.
Oh, you're curious who
I've
you're going to
been
pick?
I've been going back and forth on this all day
All right.
because, well, let's just do it. I guess. Are you ready?
I got my. Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1. I'm
Wow.
doing the double. I'm picking Kyle Larson for both.
Wow.
I'm picking
Okay.
Kyle Larson for both. I'm doing
If
the double.
if
I had
anyone
to.
can do it,
I
if
had
anyone
to do
can
the
do it,
double. I'm so,
yeah.
thank you for not blocking me, because obviously you don't think Kyle Larson's gonna win. You think Denny Hamlin's gonna win, and
Yeah.
that's a good bet.
So I thought about picking Joseph for Indy because I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cute. But I want to get points, and I don't know if you can
You
go back
need
to
points in
back.
Indy. You're 5-0
Yeah,
right now. Why? Yeah,
yeah.
0-5.
But I'm going with Hamlin. I like that you get to pick Larson. Like that's you probably won't get to do that very often, if ever again after this. So that's really special for
I
you.
don't know what that means.
Well, you acting like you're gonna die if Larson wins. So,
Yeah, I won't get to see him win the 600. Oh,
um, but no, this is gonna be a fun weekend, Zach. I can't wait.
I need to catch up in NASCAR though.
Yeah, NASCAR
Honestly, I
is
wasn't
eight to
gonna pick him
six.
for the 600
Mm-hmm.
until I saw what he did last night, finishing fourth.
Mm,
I'm like, yeah, no, he's good. He'll be
yeah.
fine. He'll be okay. I'm good.
And if anyone can do it, it's Kyle Larson.
By the
Truly.
way, okay, so just in
Yeah.
case the Trump thing does impact, if Larson has a sub start the car
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, but then if Larson gets back in the car, that still counts. Or rather, whatever. The, I'm
So
picking
if
the
you
five car.
if
The five car. I'm picking the five
yes.
car.
So for IndyCar, if something were to happen, yes, you can have Tony Kanaan. And if
The
something happens with
17 car.
NASCAR, yeah. If something happens with NASCAR, you can have, I assume, Justin Allgaier. Yeah. You can have the car.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
picking the car.
Yeah.
That's how risky I'm getting.
Yep.
Doing the double.
And by the way, reminder to everyone, sometime when we're hanging out in person, Zach has to buy me ice cream because I did win the All-Star
Yeah.
fantasy.
Someone
So
told me, "Why did you pick Truex for a non-points race? Like Truex is gonna care." I'm like, "You're right." But Chase ain't gonna care either. So I mean, you think Chase cared last night? Nah, he was chilling.
Martin probably went fishing that morning.
Yeah, he did not care. Fishing in the North Wilkesboro Lake, the
Yeah.
newly formed North Wilkesboro Lake. There probably were some fish up in there. Sorry, I'll
Yeah.
get rid of this. Um,
But
well,
yeah.
that's the episode. We just hit an hour, so Alex is gonna be like, "Okay,
Crazy.
we need to get off now.
We
Need to
gotta
get off.
wrap it up.
We gotta wrap it
Wrap it
up,
up.
Zach. Come on." Again, check out our Patreon. If you want to see all of our bonus content, there's more on the way. And
Yep.
we'll be back next week, of course, to talk about everything. Everything.
Everything.
The double.
Literally
Talk about the double.
everything.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so Alex, where can people find us if they enjoyed today's episode?
Yeah, so you can find us on pretty much all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify. Leave us 5-star reviews over there. A written review on Apple if you want us to read it. We're also on YouTube for the video. Support us on Patreon, as Zach said. Patreon.com/gayracingpod. Our Patreon subscribers are helping us with food this weekend, so thank you for that. Like and subscribe on YouTube and on socials. You can follow us pretty much everywhere at Gay Racing Pod. TikTok, that continues to grow over there. And then on other socials for our personals at Dreamy Zach Racing and at Newgate.
Before we hop off, I want to share a little story about my iRacing journey because I've been running the Gay Racing Podcast paint scheme. I made one. I'm a little bit of an artist, and I've gotten some comments. All of them have been nice comments. I've not had anyone say anything mean yet. Someone said, "I love your paint scheme."
Aw.
And I think they genuinely meant it. Like, I love, like, yeah. And I had someone say, or ask, like, where can I follow your podcast? Because I had at Gay Racing Pod on the back, but they like, is it on Instagram or Facebook?
We're on everything but Facebook, girl.
I'm just like, what do you mean?
I ain't
Just
running no
search at
Facebook
Gay
account.
Racing Pod in Google and you'll find it. I'm just saying. I
Yeah.
don't know why
If you search us on Google, you'll find us literally everywhere. So
iRacing is so great. I'm so glad I got it.
I'm glad you're having fun.
I've actually been
That's
winning
so
a little
fun.
bit.
Ooh.
Oh, I had a photo finish. 2 of them, actually. 2 of my wins have been photo finishes. So great month of May for me. I love the month of May. This might be my new favorite month.
Yeah, I love May.
I like May. I love May. This is great. March is cool too, but May's great.
You might love May a hell of a lot more here in a couple days.
We're gonna be I'm gonna be a changed man next time you guys see me. So I don't know what that's gonna be like.
If you're still listening for some reason, we'll talk about it on socials too. But if you're at the Indy 500, we will be there. So
I
say
will be
hi if
wearing.
you see us.
I will be wearing a Larson jersey, orange and blue, obviously. What are you wearing?
A blue PPG jersey. I bought a jersey so we kind of match. I thought it'd be cute.
Did you want to wear my shell jersey?
Ooh, maybe.
It might be oversized, but it'll probably look good.
Yeah, I'll bring
it because then we'll match our liveries. So,
ooh, yeah.
We got to do the Joseph and Larson thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get there right when the gates open. I want to try kissing the bricks if that's a possibility. I think that'd be
kissing
cute.
who? I'm supposed to say, who are you kissing? Like,
who?
Who?
We're gonna kiss on the bricks, huh? What?
Oh my god! All right, let's get off before we start getting weird. All right, bye y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Maybe.